Welcome to Peter and Roughie's football show here on STV. The main talking points in tonight's programme: the Petrofac Training Cup final on April 10th between Rangers and Peterhead will take place at Hampden Park. Aberdeen are hoping to move into a new stadium in season 2019-2020, sounds not too far away. And Jack Ross is the new manager of Alloa. Just a few of the talking points on tonight's programme. Alan Ruff is alongside me, Peter Martin, and I'm delighted to say our bootroom guest is Hamilton's Michael McGovern, who's looking forward to Euro 2016 with Northern Ireland. We'll take a look at the groups in a moment, but you're one of those lucky guys, Michael, who's looking forward to a major tournament. How good does it feel to hear that? Yeah,
it's a wee bit surreal still. I think it's just sort of sinking in that we're going to be involved, and myself personally, it's just something of a dream, really, and just really looking forward to it. I can't wait for it.
Yeah, and the great thing about the Northern Ireland side, it's very much like a club team.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. Like the team spirit and the way everybody gets on, they get on really, really well. It's funny because you're getting guys from different sort of walks of life almost in terms of financially. Some boys are playing it right at the top level in Premiership, and then other boys who wouldn't be on that much money and stuff like that. And everybody just is treated the same, and everyone just gets on as really good pals.
Yeah, we look on, Ruffy, with envious eyes. Although when I look back, growing up as a boy, the great Northern Ireland teams that I remember, Martin O'Neill in there, Billy Hamilton, Norman Whiteside, Jerry Armstrong. I mean, these are names that are etched in the history of Northern Irish football.
Yeah, they certainly are, and they were at the World Cups when we were there. We actually went up to Albuquerque once to play a bounce game with them just before our first game, and it was great. We all went out for a night out after it, and it was a great occasion. But you're right, teams like Northern Ireland and Scotland, you have to enjoy it as much as possible. Sometimes you're at a country who doesn't get there for a long time.
Yeah, I was wondering when you were going to mention it. And in a strange sort of way, the whole of Northern Ireland was exactly the same, because they were longing to get to major championships again. It had been so long for the country.
Yeah, it's 30 years from when the European Championship takes place next year, so it's a pretty long time. You know what I mean? Not that obviously Scotland hasn't been there for a while as well, and it would have been nice if they had got there. You know what I mean? Especially like living here, and the fact that everybody else is qualified, I think I feel a bit left out and all. So, but disappointed for them. But obviously, from a personal point of view, really happy we get there.
Yeah. Tell me about Michael O'Neill as a manager.
I think he's a very, very good manager, to be honest, because he's played me the last few games, so I'm happy about that. But no, seriously, he's really, really good. His attention to detail and the way he prepares the teams, is fantastic. And he said in the press himself, being a man manager of Northern Ireland is harder than maybe even a club, because you can get rid of players in the club, whereas at Northern Ireland you've only got a group, and you can't really buy and sell, so you have to sort of deal with the cards that he's been dealt. So he's done really well on that side of things as well.
Do you think, Michael, the Scotland game at Hampden was the game that established yourself? They gave you a chance there, and you came in and you had a fantastic game, and ever since then you've been a main part of it.
Yeah, I think so. That was my first start, and that was a big chance for me, and obviously it was kind of special playing in Scotland for so long that it was against Scotland, and I came in and I got man of the match. I was a wee bit surprised by it, but I thought I'd done alright in the game, and I sort of Michael then maybe felt that he could maybe trust me in the games, and I think a trust between the manager and player is a big thing. Before then maybe he wasn't sure if I'd be able to handle playing in them type of games, but obviously came in, done okay in that game, and I've played a lot since.
Yeah. What about I mentioned the fact that it does have a real club feel about it, but there are talented individuals in the squad that can do special things as well, Michael, to be fair to them.
Yeah, no, I think maybe don't get some players in the squad play in the Premier League, and they're a bit underrated. The likes of Chris Brunt and Gareth McCauley, and especially Stephen Davis. Stephen Davis has been immense for us. Obviously, a lot of people know him from being at Rangers, and he's really been our main man. Obviously, Big Kyle scored the goals and that, but I think Stephen being a captain and just the way he carries himself and around the boys is a good example of everybody.
Yeah, for me, Ruffy, Stephen Davis, not only a good player but a really good lad as well. Leads by example.
Yeah, and you need that. You need a leader when you've got you go to a big final like that, because all the players will look up to him. You know, he'll be the role model for the squad, and they'll all feed off of him. And he's been tremendous since he left Rangers. I mean, he was tremendous at Rangers as well, but he's a great player to have in your team.
Yeah, let's look at the group then, Michael. What do you make of the group that Northern Ireland have been drawn in? I think, you know, group of death is definitely Group E, but when I look at you guys, you were always going to get a couple of difficult countries, but Germany, Ukraine and Poland, what's your assessment of it?
I think everybody wanted to, as you say, Group B, I think everybody wanted to avoid Italy because they're second seeds, which was a bit surprising. And you know, us being in the fourth pot, like it's always going to be difficult no matter who we got, but I'm happy with the draw we've got, and even the way the games have panned out and the timings of the games. Like obviously we played Germany last, so we play the two sort of, we'll compare to Germany lesser nations, although they'll all be very, very hard games.
Yeah, and the great thing about it from your perspective, when Roughie was at a major tournament, he had the likes of Zico to contend with and try and stop him. You've only got Lewandowski and Thomas Müller.
Yeah. To be fair, I think there's a few more players as well involved in that. But I mean, it's brilliant even just talking about it like this, and just cannot wait for it to come along, and just want to keep doing well for Hamilton, hopefully keeping the team.
Yeah, we'll touch on Hamilton in a moment. Tell me what it's like among you know, the fans back in Northern Ireland.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Like, I mean, I've been home a few times recently, and you know, it's the first thing everybody speaks to you about, and you know, we've received a lot of really good press, and you know, probably rightly so, because it is quite a big achievement for us to qualify. I mean, and also like we finished top of the group as well. So although the sort of tournament was opened up with 24 teams, we would have still qualified if it was 16. And you know, just the things we've done has been brilliant, and we just want to continue on with this, and we want to go there and try and get through the group, because we don't just want to go there and make up numbers, because we feel like with the format, and you know, with the best third place teams qualifying as well, you know, we've got a good chance.
Yeah, and how early did the text come in? Can you get me tickets?
Yeah, loads of people. Yeah, they're actually speaking about that. My family are hopefully all going to come over, and we're talking about the day, and now the venues have been announced and things like that. We can maybe get things firmed up. Like, but a lot of my friends are looking to come over, so I'm sure everyone in the squad will have been in the same boat. Like.
Yeah, it gets worrying when you start to get texts from ex-girlfriends and mates that you never thought were actually hanging about with you anymore, Michael. Let's hope that doesn't happen. What about Hamilton Accies? Because interestingly enough, Jamie McDonald said anyone outside the top four could be in relegation trouble. Roughie, do you buy into that?
Yeah, I do. I think a lot of the results in the league are so inconsistent. I don't think anybody could look at the fixtures and predict it with a lot of confidence. There's teams, there's Ross County went down to Hamilton. We all thought Hamilton would have won that one. And there's Partick Thistle going up to Dundee United and winning. So I think it's teams that can go on a 2 or a 3 winning run and get the points behind them that can take them out of it. But in saying that, 2 or 3 defeats can put you back into it for all these sides.
You know, goalkeepers are crucial, Michael, but I always feel as if the best chance is if you have someone who can hit maybe 15, 20 goals to get you away from that trouble.
Yeah, no, definitely. And to be fair, we've not had that yet in our team, like, but the boys have chipped in from midfield. They know the likes of Dougie Emery and Ali Crawford and Grandma scored at the weekend, you know. So to be fair, it was the same last season. We didn't have an out-and-out goal scorer. We sort of had the number 9 would sort of hold the ball up, and the midfielders would come in and score goals that way.
Yeah, and just out of curiosity, have you had to adapt your game, you know, from playing in the artificial surface to when you're going back to grass?
No, not at all. I actually kind of like the artificial surface more now at this time of season, like when the pitches are starting to deteriorate and things like that. Obviously everybody would love to have perfect grass, but you only get that, you know, sort of the start of the season. And now as a goalkeeper, like, you know what you're getting with artificial grass. I mean, pass backs, there's not going to be many bobbles, or you know, shots, you know which way it's going to bounce all the time because it's the same bounce. Whereas in grass at this time of the season, when pitches start to get worse, then sometimes it's a wee bit different, bit of a lot, right?
Yeah, you wouldn't have been able to handle that, Roughie, would you?
I'm old school. It's grass for me. You know, having never played in the artificial surface. But I can see where Michael's coming from. You know, the more and more you play on it, you know, you get to read it a lot better.
Yeah.
It's just that I feel there's a lot of outfield players don't seem to be able to handle it, and And if you don't handle it, it goes into your mind and you start saying, I don't like this stuff. And but if you're positive with it the way Michael is, then you're not going to have a problem with it.
Yeah, and of course Dundee up at Dens Park for Hamilton on the weekend, Roughie.
Yeah, I think touching wood, it's a good time to get them. You know, they don't seem to be scoring goals as regular as what they have, or winning games either, so it might just be the right time.
Yep, we're going to get Michael's thoughts on Dundee for the weekend in the next part of the programme. We'll also be talking about that Petrofac Training Cup final at Hampden. Is it the right decision? Is it for financial reasons? Will the Peterhead fans be more than happy to go to the National Stadium for that tournament? And lots more to come in the next part of the programme with our bookroom guest Michael McGovern. Welcome back to Peter and Roughie's football show here on STV. We're delighted to have your company, and our bookroom guest is Hamilton goalkeeper Michael McGovern, and it's a great time to be a goalkeeper, Roughie, because in the summer, Michael, you've got the choice of clubs. I mean, we've already got you going to Hibs, but I imagine you're in that luxurious position, a good tournament, Real Madrid.
Yeah, well, that would be nice. I doubt that. I don't think that'll happen, like. But no, I say I'm in a contract at Hamilton, and you know, I'm just going to concentrate on playing for Hamilton between now and the end of the season and see where that takes me. And you know, I wouldn't say that I won't be at Hamilton next season either. Do you know what I mean? I love it there, and the way they've treated me has been first class. So I just want to take my time and wait and see, because the position I'm in just now, you know, I mean, it's a fantastic position really, and it's one which might not come along again. So I'm just going to wait and see. Yeah,
it is. I mean, obviously Hibs is one of those clubs that want to be in the Premiership. Does that influence you on where a club is going to be playing next season? If you were going to make a choice, if it was a club in Scotland?
Yeah, no, I wouldn't. I wouldn't go back to playing the Championship again. I don't think. I would, you know, I've worked hard to sort of get a chance in the Premier League, and I was playing 5 years in the Championship, so I wouldn't really be too keen to go back to the Championship. I think Premier League is most high profile, albeit they know they've got big clubs in the Championship at the moment, like Hibs and Rangers, but I think Premiership's where everybody wants to be. Yeah,
and again, Roughie, you've been there yourself. You know exactly what Michael's got, you know, to look forward to in the summer. You know, just by being there alone will attract attention.
Yeah, and as he's touched on it as well. Another thing, you want to go to a finals with a clear mind. You don't want to be in any doubt of what your future is going to be. You want to be focused on what you're going to be doing when you get there. And you're right, you know, when you get to a finals of that magnitude, everybody's there, every scout's there, everybody's looking for players at the beginning of the season. And if one came along that suited them, then it would be fantastic. But he's having a good time at Hamilton and he's enjoying it there, so it would have to be, I suppose, a really big club.
Yeah, and over and above that, I think you have to hold your nerve. That's the key to it all, Michael,
yeah.
Isn't it?
No, that's it too. I mean, it's all down to the end. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen, like, but obviously, in ways it would be good to get fixed up before the tournament, and you know, say where you're going to be and things like that. But then, you know, you could take a wee gamble and things could go really well. I mean, to be honest, I don't even know if I'm going to play in the tournament. Obviously, I played the last 5 games, but you know, I've still got work to do to sort of keep my place in the team. So, you know, there's a lot of things could happen. So I just need to wait and see.
Yeah. Okay. We wish you well for that, and of course, you guys have got Dundee at the weekend. These games, you know, you've been involved before in Hamilton, trying to push away, you know, from the relegation. You guys have had a good start, and you're not involved at the moment. But as Roughie mentioned there, you know, 2 or 3 bad results can suddenly drag you into it.
Yeah, no doubt about that. From our point of view, we're not really looking behind us. We're looking forward, like, to be honest. You know, we've got a good run of games coming up now, going into January as well. We're playing teams in and around us, and overall the season has went well. I think overall performance levels have been high, and you know, I think some of the games we maybe could have got points off where we didn't. But you know, we're looking forward to the game on Saturday first and foremost. And it's difficult. It's always difficult going up to Dens, and you know, they've got really good options, especially going forward. So you know, hopefully we can go up there and keep a clean sheet from a personal point of view. And if we do that, we'll definitely get something in the game.
Yeah, Roughie, Petrofac Training Cup, Hampden Park.
Yep.
What do you make of it?
Yep, I'm sure Peterhead will be doing cartwheels up up there, and thinking of the revenue that's going to be brought in, I'm sure Rangers will take a reasonable support there, and the revenue will help them. From a player's point of view, yep, I would love to go to Hampden. I always like going there. When you're at a club that doesn't go there very often, it's a great day. It's a great day for everybody. Michael's touched on it, but the family going and everybody making a day of it, and it is a great stadium to play in. Yeah, it's a bit of a problem if it's not full, but I'm sure Peterhead will just enjoy the day.
Yeah, I mean, from a player's perspective, Easter Road or possibly Tynecastle was mentioned for the final itself. From a player's point of view, would you actually think, oh, it's got to be Hampden if you get to the final?
Well, I think that Peterhead players would be looking forward to it. I think I would personally like to play at Hampden if I was involved. Like, when you don't get the opportunity to play there, it's National Stadium. You don't get the opportunity to play there very often, and I think there'll be a big crowd there, maybe even a full house, or the guts of a full house, with all the Rangers fans especially. So I think if you had to choose between Hampden, Hibs, or Hearts, something like that, I would definitely choose Hampden. Yeah,
Aberdeen have been they held their AGM. Wasn't too rowdy an affair because everything seems rosy in the garden up at Pittodrie, and they've got plans now, Roughie, to get to a new stadium by 2019-2020.
Yeah,
can't believe that. It sounds as if it's ages away, but it's not.
No, it's not, and it just shows you how progressive they are up there. Everything's going well for everybody since Derek's went in there. The team are playing well, supporters are right behind them, good travelling support, and yeah, I mean, I was up at the stadium, I think it was last year, and it was looking a wee bit old, and to get a new stadium with the support they've got up there will just be tremendous.
Yeah, and of course Derek McInnes will have money to spend in the January transfer window. That could be significant.
It will be. Obviously, he'll want to push Celtic all the way. I think we all admit it'll be a difficult one to overtake Celtic, but there are other things to take into the equation. There's Europe. You want to make sure he can get in that. And again, when January comes, supporters being supporters like to see a new face or two, but I wouldn't think they'd be splashing that much cash.
Yeah, out with Celtic, Michael. I mean, Robbie Nielsen today said that he'd be happy if Hearts got a third place finish when you consider they come up from the Championship last season. What do you make of the other teams?
With Celtic, I think that's possibly the way it might go. I think Aberdeen are probably second after Celtic. Got really good options going forward, and I think they're a very good team. And then possibly Hearts then third. Do you know what I mean? I think Robbie's done a fantastic job there. They're really well organised. They're big and strong, and when playing against them, they hunt the ball back in packs, and they make it difficult for you to play against them. So I think that's probably a fair assessment. Yeah,
and just on that point then, if it could be Celtic, Aberdeen, Hearts, the permutations that you're talking about, do you see yourselves, bearing in mind what you've just said, looking to a battle with the likes of St Johnstone for possibly 4th or 5th place?
I don't know, to be honest, but I think it's sort of, we've said from the start of the season our first aim is to avoid a relegation. So that's, for the size of our club, that's always going to be the aim. But as I said earlier, we're still looking up. We're looking to try and get as many points as we can, and if we're catching St Johnstone or whoever's above us, Ross County, that so be it. But we're just really looking to look after ourselves and concentrate on our own jobs. Yeah,
the Championship, I always like to keep my eye on it, Roughie. Hibs have appealed John McGinn's red card. I don't think there's any great surprise that they're going to appeal it. Are they going to win it?
I think the only chance they've got, that it was a lunge, but it wasn't sort of I keep saying this, and I'm only telling you this because that's what referees have told me. They judge it on the distance that they've travelled with the lunge. If it's like 10 yards, a full blow, and I think John was only about 2 or 3 yards when he put his foot in. It was a late challenge, but I think they'll be looking at a shorter, not a sort of a. They'll look to have the sentence in any way sort of being a bit lenient, and having another look at it, because for me, I saw worse at the weekend, and they got away with it. So they'll be hoping that he only maybe gets a game.
Yeah, only a former Hibs man like yourself could come up with a technicality, a long lunge and a short lunge to try and get it reduced to a game. I think, Michael, you and I are having none of it. It's a lunge lunges, a red card. I can understand though, because Hibs clearly want one of their best players for the big game coming up against Rangers.
No, to be fair, I think John's done really well since he's been there. I think he got Player of the Month, and I always liked him at Smyrna. I thought he's a really good young player. I think it was, in my opinion, it was a red card. Like, I think a 2-game ban's probably a bit harsh. You know what I mean? It was just sort of, he was chasing the ball a bit and he went over the ball a bit. So maybe 1-game ban would have been fair.
Yeah, we mentioned at the start of the programme that Roughie were maybe envious of Michael going to the European Championships. We do have a Scot actually going, Willie Collins going.
Yes, and I'm sure. I mean, I know he takes a wee bit of stick throughout the season, but on the whole, he's the one with the best points, and he gets the big games, so he's doing something right. The powers that be see him as one of our better referees, and it's good. It's good for the rest of the referees that he's getting that kind of recognition to go to a big championship.
And just briefly on it, Roughie, Jack Ross is back in management with Alloa. Good to see him, getting the top job and a chance to prove himself.
Yeah, he's been about a lot, as a number 2. He's done all his badges and everything, and it's a chance to be the manager, and I'm sure a lot of managers were interested in that job, so it's good that they've given it, and he's got something to prove. Yeah, and last word to you, Michael. Even as a footballer who has to focus every day, is there just in the back of your mind, do you just dream of making that last-ditch save to send Northern Ireland into the next phase? Tell us you're dreaming of things like that, Michael.
Aye, of course. Like, I mean, to be fair, you sort of forget about it for a while, and then the draw sort of took place on Saturday there, and you start thinking about it again. So I'm sure once I get back in the routine, I'll forget about it till our friendly in March. Yeah, absolutely. Well, listen, we wish you the very best of luck. Delighted that Michael is going to the European Championships. Let's hope he has a great tournament and invites us over to Real Madrid for the big interview. From Roughie and myself, thanks for watching.